This is all right. So this is a DB podcast. This is a dark podcast. All right. So when you gaze into the abyss gazes back into you, and within the darkness, the light shines. All right. So this episode is gonna be focused more so on gods and goddesses, immortals, the difference between gods and goddesses, immortals, as well as titans and primordials. But mostly focusing on gods and goddesses, and as well as mortality and immortality. Alright, so mortals have minds and spirits and vessels. Vessels are what you refer to as a body, which is not a word, but a reference to a biodome. So they may have an electrical field, but they don't have an electromagnetic field. It's not magnetic because they don't have souls. So that's what makes them mortal, because even though that they have spirits and minds in a vessel, they don't have a soul. They only have remnants of what pure energy is. Energy is the soul within the mind. All right. So, and that's referred to as their spirits. Okay. And their spirits are not always organic, and they're usually not. They're not original, they're not organic, they're not authentic, they're synthetic, meaning that they're basically handmade and constructed artificially, basically. So basically like a clone of a spirit, a true spirit, an organic spirit, because spirits are true spirits, the ones that aren't fallen, are a reflection of the Almighty God as a collective. So mortals not being created by source but created by gods, they don't have souls because they weren't intended to be created with one. Because only source can provide one with a soul. Gods do not provide their creations with souls without the permission of source, or like without the intervention of source. So that's what makes a mortal immortal. But an immortal is one with a soul. So an immortal will be referred to as a god or a goddess. Now there's different forms of immortality, but the ones that's referencing to gods and goddesses is the immortality of the soul. Mortals, unlike mortals, gods can reincarnate consistently as gods do. Gods and goddesses incarnate into vessels of their own. Their vessels are different from those of mortals because they are able to contain a soul, which means they are electromagnetic within their avatar. An avatar is mind, soul, vessel, spirits, their spirits, which is the Almighty God. They have the organic connection, the original connection, the authentic connection with the source that created their soul. So they don't have to necessarily worry about in being possessed or anything like that, or manipulated, as much as in the sense of that they will never be destroyed. They will never have an end in the beginning. They are able to rejuvenate, regenerate, revitalize, recuperate, rest, relax, because they are creators. They are creator beings naturally. Not that they aren't able to destroy, but that's not the creation. That is not the mission that they're given, or that's not the mission that they're in proxy to their source, okay, which is the Almighty God, or once again their ancestors, their spirits. The Almighty God source is one and the same. They're all one and the same. Now, source is the extension, like the well, basically where the Almighty God came from. But what makes up of Almighty God is the ancestors that aren't fallen, the ones that are collectively within that soul's mind. I mean, within that soul, period, actually, because it is the core of the soul, yeah, which is mentioned in the previous episode as to why sanity is a sanctity, meaning that it's something that is sacred, because the oneness, the connection with the Almighty God is what allows the soul to reincarnate. It's not just reincarnating because it's a soul, it's immortalized because it has spirits, because it's connection, it's source connection, whereas mortals do not have a source connection. They don't regenerate, recuperate, revitalize beyond what you refer to or believe to be called their physical being, quote unquote. Yeah, because they're not magnetic, so they don't ever return back to anything, any form of source. They only continue on in spirit if they are not fallen, and or they don't return to spirit. They just kind of linger and roam around in different forms as different kinds of I guess you would say apparitions, yeah, or phenomenons like demons and shit, which doesn't usually happen. They're just usually fallen spirits, basically. And if it does happen, that would be what that would be referred to, because they don't have a soul, so they wouldn't be entities, because entities are fallen gods, or no, fallen deities, and they wouldn't be principalities and archons, because that would be fallen angels and gods and goddesses. Demigods have a form of they have the ability to access immortality, but they're not automatically immortal because not all of them have a soul, and even if they do have a soul, their minds are synthetic, and their spirits can be cloned, or possibly cloned. But that's what makes mortals incapable of having a soul within them, because their minds are synthetic, their spirits are cloned from the original source spirits. So they don't have the connection with the Almighty God, because their ancestors are not of the Almighty God. So that makes them basically a lingering spirit. They don't have an inherent mission within any incarnation. They just kind of are there as what some may refer to as like NPCs or clones, bots, synthetics. And synthetic and a clone is not the same thing. A synthetic would be an originally artificial construct, and then the clone is just the makeup of that synthetic. So it's like a re-up. It's like another synthetic it was created from a synthetic. So it's just a mimicry of a synthetic. Not all spirits are synthetic. Some of them are clones. So then when they continue to clone and clone and clone, which often can occur through the reproductive process, that's when you have a lot of mortals roaming around with similar spirits or similar electro fields, as in like they have a similar kind of what mortals refer to as an aura, because they believe that they have an aura because they have an electro field, not electromagnetic though. The electromagnetic is studied from the incarnated vessels of the gods. So when they're referring to electromagnetic, they're not referring to mortals. They're referring to immortal incarnates, those with souls, because the soul is magnetic and the spirit is electric. Okay, so yeah, and then when it comes to gods and goddesses, not only does that organic source incarnation within them, and as well as they are make them gods and goddesses, they show up different in the what you believe to be called the physical realm, the realm of light, because they are able to hold so much light, which is source energy, source energy within them. They have a more of a darker tone or a different form of carbon that and what you refer to as curly or coily ether, because the original true name is not truly called hair, it's ether. Okay, so they would be more so 9 ether beings, whereas demigods are 8 ether beings or 7 ether beings, depending on whether they're like yellow bone or red bone. I mean, depending on how, carbonated, deeply connected with their carbonated cells that they are. Next episode.